Most people will recognize the rotunda at the University of Virginia, and this summer we had quite a fuss over an attempt to fire the president of the university, Teresa Sullivan. And there's a rally being held today, and the purpose of it really is to put the word to the public that this fight is not over. The people who tried to fire Teresa Sullivan will continue to dominate education and take over. So that's the message, I think, behind this rally. We're going to talk to somebody and she can give a little better explanation.
I'm Laura Goldblatt. I'm a graduate student at the University of Virginia in the English department, and we're here because we want to say that the crisis over the summer did not end with Teresa Sullivan's reinstatement. The crisis is not going to be over until the BOV and the university governance in general is completely transparent and allows all the stakeholders in this university to have a say in the way things are run.
So there will be speakers today and they're going to address some of the issues, is that correct?
That is correct. We're going to have 8 speakers, and all of them are going to talk about the ways that the BOV's actions and the lack of transparency that came up this summer affects their lives and the lives of the things that they care about. So we've got students, we've got a member of the staff, and we've also got some faculty members.
And these are some of the students, is that right? Okay. Who have come out here this afternoon, and that's the sign. People are still really excited, energized about what happened. The rally is about to start just a couple minutes, and I'm under the portico of the rotunda, and you can see it's not exactly raining, but it's on the verge. We'll listen to a few speakers, and we'll keep everybody in touch as to what's happening, because the fight certainly is not over. This is Professor Weidenhofen, lead-off speaker.
On Gloomy Day, on Gloomy Friday, we have great spirit and energy here today, but we have a lot of work to do. We have a tremendous amount of work to do. The roots of the events of June, right? Everything that led up to June 10th, when we learned that President Sullivan had been forced out, were decades old, right? The techno-fundamentalism, the market fundamentalism, the reductive vision of what we do at a university, the sense of an abrogation of public commitment to public higher education, all of that was a 20, 30, maybe 40-year process. It snuck up on this place pretty hard in June, but it's not news to people in public higher education around the world. Right? And we are all in the same boat. We see the same problems and the same tensions in the United Kingdom, the same problems and the same tensions in Quebec, where students rioted in the streets to the point where they changed the government's policies. We see these same tensions and struggles in California, where they've suffered tremendous cutbacks over the past 5 or 6 years. It's been really crippling there. We've actually been insulated here in the state of Virginia and insulated at the University of Virginia, and it really snuck up on us in June. And as we said from day one, and as we said every day since, it was not about one person's job. It was about the vision of this university, the vision of the role that this university plays in the life of the state, in the life of the nation, in the life of the globe. Right? And what goes on here is not purely transactional. It's not about a person marching through here, jumping over a bunch of hurdles, and getting a piece of paper at the end. If it were, we could do it so much cheaper. Right? We've got printers. That's not the problem. And what we do here is not the injection of information into passive human beings through whatever technology is available. If that were what we were about, the printing press would have wiped out institutions years ago. No, we are about trial and error. We're about experimentation. We're about experimentation within ourselves, within our sense of ideas, our sense of ourselves, our sense of the world. We try on ideas for size for a while. We give them up when they don't work for us. We build upon what others have done before. We preserve what's gone on in the past, and we look toward the future. And none of that is quantifiable. No spreadsheet can contain that, right? So when we are told to reduce what we do to a spreadsheet, we do violence to what we are supposed to be doing here. And we rob the future of the work that we can do here. And that's really what's at stake. So while we have comfortably gone along at this university, while these pressures built and finally busted through and made themselves clear in June, what we haven't been able to do is actually confront them openly. Right? We've had a lot of great conversations here on ground since June. This is just the latest in a number of good events where we get to air this stuff. But the people who actually instigated this process, the people who actually brought this pressure upon us, they have not answered. They have not responded. In fact, every time that members of the faculty or even the president herself have tried to get to the bottom of what's going on, what the deep root causes of the crisis at June have been, they have been told to move on because it's too unpleasant and it's just going to make us look bad. Well, what makes us look bad is looking the other way. Because if we ignore these pressures, then we can't make this place better. The best we can do is play defense. We played defense really well for 2 weeks in the summer, right? But all we did was play defense. We don't get to say goal at the end of President Sullivan's reinstatement. We get to say, okay, phew, we managed to make it through a really difficult challenge. Going forward, making this place better, that is going to take 20 or 30 years of hard work, right? And I'm inspired by the fact that now we can start doing that. We can actually speak to each other clearly because now we all realize the urgency of that.
Associations. Let me explain what this means.
This is Susie McCarthy, one of the leaders of the students during the effort to reinstate Teresa
They are
Sullivan.
actively engaged in faculty recruitment. When a professor decides between universities, the calculus involves salary, potential research grants, prestige, and overall university environment. All four of these qualities are uncertain at the moment at UVA thanks to the BOV's actions in June. Yet the BOV has not sent any signals that they care about these issues. Quite to the contrary, they have gone out of their way to make it blatantly clear that we have no business prying into what they view as their business. During the BOV meeting on September 13th, Mr. Goodwin told Professor Cohen, chair of the Faculty Senate, quote, "You're trying to dig up things and you're trying to get answers that, in my opinion, you won't get. And the more you dig, the more you make the university look bad. And we have enjoyed some really great rankings here in the last few weeks. If we keep at it, and I will suggest you are doing a lot of it, I think you won't see these kinds of rankings." Mr. Goodwin, I suggest that you take a second look at some of the key components of these rankings. They take into account factors such as class size, classes offered, and average student GPA. These are directly related to the quality and amount of faculty we have in our departments.